This video is brought to you by the FarmerKlein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Another Farming Simulator 22 map first impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at the Nutons Hedge. But before that, this video is brought to you by the 901 Meister and Semper Buffo. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Nutons Hedge map can be found over at the FarmingSimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu. And as of the 1.0 release, this map is being released into two formats. We have the all-platform map, and then we have a PC-only variant. The only differences are the PC-only variant includes additional terrain angles, often referred to as multi-terrain angle, and there are no other gameplay changes with respect to the PC version. So if you are looking to play cross-platform, or you really don't care about the additional terrain angles, then just go ahead and use the all-platform variant. Now, across both versions of the map, there are several required mods. We're going to go into details with those here in a minute. But first, let's read a little bit of the description. Welcome to the Nutons Hedge. An emblematic map from Farming Simulator 2013 returns original. Here you will find 62 fields and meadows, 3 farms, a BGA, 7 forests, 10 sell points, ammo dealer, collectibles, a new palette, modification of the TMR recipe, and let's go ahead and load on in. Now, in addition to the mods that we typically use when we take a look at maps, that is additional field info, additional game settings, field lease, field calculator, and precision farming. We have the required mods in the Emily pack, as well as the Grimmy pack. We have the lizard cutting cart, the metal shed, lizard silo, silo farmer, Tambora 30 TMR mixer, stone walls, and that is it. Let's go ahead and watch the map load on in. I want to tell you to load this map up in farm manager mode or start from scratch. You will find the main farm is built out exactly how you see it here in new farmer mode. In addition, you do own machinery in all play modes, but you do not own any land in those two alternate game modes. Here we are in new farmer mode. Let's go ahead and take a look at the PDA. And I would say that this is a scaled down map, just a little bit smaller than maybe what a standard size map would look like. If we'd say, we've got the map here, I would say it's probably about 60% of a standard size map. We do have all the standard crop types available to us in Farm Sim 22. We go ahead and take a look at the lands area. You see we start out by owning farmland number 60. That is the main starting farm. That can be bought for $213,000, and it's 8.79 acres in size. In addition, we own farmland ID number 2, as well as farmland ID 41. Now, the description said that there were a total of 3 farms on the map. In addition, we have a pig and sheep farm, which can be located here at farmland ID 71. That can be bought for $40,000 and 1.67 acres in size. And then farm 3, I'm going to say, is farmland ID 65. That is where we're going to find a potato warehouse from the Grimmy pack, and that is going to be viable for $24,000. We do have a BGA available on the map here at farmland ID 61. You can be out for $125,000, but buying the land does not also gain you the BGA. You will need to own the BGA in addition to owning the land. Let's go ahead and take a look at our farmland lease screen to take a look at the rest of the viable farmlands, how large those farmlands are, if those farmlands include any field or fields, what is included, and then ultimately how much is that farmland going to cost us. Well, I can tell you right here. You want to buy field 18, it's going to cost you a cool $17 million because it is tied up with all of the unbuyable land areas. Let's see where field 18 might be located. 18 is right here. Now, it shows up as farmland 49 as opposed to all of the unbuyable land, but that is kind of an interesting thing there. Let's go ahead and take a look down through the rest of these. And then let's take a look at our field calculator screen. The field calculator screen is going to show us the specific sizes of each specific field. Then we can go back and cross-reference that with the farmland lease screen to then get an idea of how much it's going to cost you to buy any one given field. While we're here, let's go ahead and take a look and see how the generic soil map is being applied to the fields. To the north and south, we've got our silty clay that we expect to see again with the generic soil map. And then kind of in the heart of the map, we have fields that are a combination of loamy sand, sandy loam, and loam. Let's take a look at our crop counter. We do have the standard FS22 crop counter available to us on this map. And taking a look at our prices screen, you will see that we do indeed have the ability to sell all of our base game crops that are available to us in Farm Sim 22 on this map. In addition, we do have the ability to sell our animal outputs in eggs, wool, and milk, and also our silage, hay, straw, and grass. Now, the story differs a little bit as we move down here to our production items, because we do have the ability to sell most of our production items, but not all of our production items, because we do not have the ability to sell planks. Now, this map does have a sawmill pre-placed. And of course, the sawmill produces planks. What we do have the ability to sell is furniture, but the map does not include a carpentry shop. Of course, you can put your own carpentry shop down, but it is something to note. If you are going to buy the sawmill, and when you do start producing planks, you're either going to have to auto sell those at the production, or put down your own sell point, or put down a carpentry shop that you're then going to be able to take those planks and make them into furniture, and then you're going to be able to sell that furniture. This map does have the ability to buy bulk lime, and we also have a stone crusher if you are playing with stones enabled. Now, this map includes also a new fill type in beet molasses. Beet molasses is not something that you can produce. It is something that you can purchase, and beet molasses is going to be used in mixing total mixed rations. As far as our platinum expansion production items, this map does not include the ability to produce any platinum expansion production items. So if you are going to put one of those down, you're also going to need to put down a sell point for the platinum expansion items, because again, we do not have the ability to sell any of those items on this map. If you are playing with pumps and hoses, we do have the ability to sell our separated manure. Taking a look at our vehicle overview, we start out with a large list of starting machinery. Most of it is well maintained, but some of it does have quite a few operating hours on it or needs some maintenance. So be a little cautious if you are looking to maybe sell some of the starting equipment. Make sure that it is well repaired in order to get top dollar. None of the starting equipment is leased. We do have 2 animal pens at the main farm in a cow barn and chicken coop, but we do not have any animals in those. This map does include contracts, and this map does not have any production items pre-owned at the start. Then lastly, this map does have 20 collectibles. Let's take a quick rundown of that starting equipment. Start with the John Deere 6120M small tractor, as well as the Fendt 742 Vario and Massey Ferguson 7719S medium tractor. We have the Kloss Tryon 720 harvester that is then paired up with the Conviflex 1080 grain header. We have our JCB 54170 Agri Pro telehandler. We've got a 2017 pickup truck and the John Deere Gator. We have our AgriLiner MUK 303 trailer. We've got the Grimmy GL 420 potato planter. We have the Agrimoz POV 5XL plow, the Samgar 9500K cultivator, as well as the Horse Joker 4CT disc harrow. We have the Amazon KG 3001 Super Power Harrow. That is matched up then with the Senta 3000 Super Seeder. And then we have the Kuhn TF 1512 Seed Hopper. We've got the Maxima 3-till planter. We have the Hardy Mega 1200L sprayer and front spray tank for herbicide and liquid fertilizer. We have the Dalbo Power Roll 1230 HD. We have the Amazon ZA TS 3200 3-point hitch fertilize spreader. Then we have the Grimmy GH8. This is going to be a weeder, specifically a harrow for weeding medium weeds, and it is a part of the Grimmy pack. We have the Coolerland 4140L trail mower, the GF 8712 tedder, as well as Samez Z2 840H windrower. We have the Fendt Squadra 1290 UD square baler. Then we have the Tambora 30. It is a modded TMR mixer, as well as the Emily Sigma. It is going to be a bale shredder that is modded. Then we have the Aquatrans 7300S water tanker. We have our John Deere 603R, front loader arms. And for the front loader arms, we have the universal bucket manure fork and a dual bag lifter. For our telehandler, we have pallet fork, universal bucket, and bale fork. Then we have the cutter cart for our bale trailer. Interesting. Then we also have the MHAL 432035 flatbed trailer. Now, with respect to mods and DLCs, we do have the required mods in the Emily pack. There are some modded kind of straw handling equipment. We have the Grimmy Potato Pack. I've got a video on this specifically in the channel. Then we have our Lizard Cutting Cart. And then specifically for the map, we can buy a IBC container of beet molasses, and we are going to be using that in our TMR mix. So here at the starting farm, we have our farmhouse. Our sleep trigger. A little bit of a garage. We'll find our pickup truck, our gator, our wardrobe trigger. We have our chicken coop. This is going to look very familiar to a Black Sheep Modding's building pack because I believe it is from there. 150 chickens available. We have our food trough to the side. We have our egg spawn point. In a little kind of office type area. In addition, we start out with several bags of seed, fertilizer, and such. We have a fuel tank. It's currently empty, but we do have a fuel tank. Now, with respect to can the farm be customized, the farm buildings can, for the most part, be sold. There are a few farm buildings, like I believe that one right there, and the one across the street a little bit, that cannot be sold. But there are some decorative items here at the main farm that are going to remain even if you sell the building. So be aware of that. The rest of the farm we're going to find across the street. We've got 2 silos that are going to hold our liquid fertilizer. More vehicle implement storage. Here we have our silo building. We have our dump and fill point right there. We have our cow pasture. We're going to be able to hold 75 cows in here. Side here we have then our water trigger, our straw trigger, and our food trough. We have our milk. Then I believe our manure heap is going to be located inside the building here. There's a little bit of the straw plane that's going to come up. Now this pile of bales, it is going to remain. It is not sellable. We have our slurry point. We have 2 3-sided silage bunkers. Those can be sold. These 2 open sheds can also be sold. Well, that's kind of a... Let's just back the header in. Now I want to use this tractor because I need to get to the TMR mixer. Got a water tanker there. So I believe my TMR mixer is over here. There it is. And you can see from the F1 menu that we now have beet molasses, which has been added to the mix. So we have, for mixing TMR, we need hay, silage, and beet molasses. It looks like straw and mineral feed are basically set to require very little, if any, in order to make total mixed rations. But we will need that beet molasses, which is purchasable again from the shop. Let's take to the skies and do a little 360 view before we do our fly around. See, we've got some subtle rolling hills on our fields. Fields of various shapes, sizes. Several look like they can be easily merged together without too much difficulty. Let's go ahead and just kind of take our way off here to the north. Directly north of the starting farm, we do have the biogas plant. Again, the biogas plant is on land that you can purchase, but when you do purchase the land, you do not own the biogas plant. You will need to buy that separate, and that can be purchased for $1.6 million. So it's not going to be a cheap purchase, and if you own the biogas plant, you cannot sell it. The biogas plant is not sellable in any way. We have 2 large 3-sided bunkers. We have kind of a vehicle or bale shed over here. And there is a note on the way into the biogas plant that I think you should take heed of, because it seems to imply that this BGA has been set up to not accept bales. So here we have, it's going to allow silage, straw, hay, slurry, manure, and sugar beet cut. No bales. That seems to be what that represents. No bales here at the BGA. Over here we have an additional farm. This is farmland 65. This is the one that has the potato warehouse. This is from the Grimmy pack. Then we have our dairy production. We have a grocery store sell point. Down here in the southeast portion of the map, we're going to find a grain sell point. We're going to find a buy all area. We're also going to find a root crop sell point, as well as our stone crusher. So we're going to take a look here at the buy all point once we get around to our drive around portion. Then we have the sell point. Got some fairly large fields down here to the south. You see our main starting farm directly in front of us there. Now, with respect to production, we do have 7 production items built into the map. We have a cheese dairy, a bakery, a sawmill, oil mill, sugar mill, spinnery, and biogas plant. Down below, we have our animal dealer and animal bale trigger. We have another grain sell point, and I believe a lime buy point. Over here, we have a sheep area that you have to buy, as well as a pig area that again is tied to farmland ID 71. That is the 3rd buyable farm on the map. Directly across the street from that, we have the bakery. We have our oil mill. Then we have some buy points, some sell points. And then we're going to be coming over here. We have our sawmill. Take a look at that closer during the drive around portion. We have our sugar mill. And then we have our vehicle workshop. Let's go ahead and pick up our Mahindra. And then to the side, we have our maintenance, repair, customize, repaint, and such trigger. It is the dealer trigger. And while we do not have any markers locating where this is, it's going to be at these 2 roll-down doors. I would like to see markers available. It looks like our Mahindra is going to spawn around the back. And there we do indeed have our Mahindra. A decent area for our vehicles to spawn in at if it's going to spawn the entire length of that area. So that is good to see as well. Now, with respect to some more of our scoring metric, we're going to be giving the map 3/4 of a point with respect to the ability to sell all of our basic crops, production items, or animal outputs. And that is because we do not have the ability to sell planks. We do have the ability to sell furniture, but we would have to put our own carpentry shop down in order to do that. So here we have our base game spinnery, pallet spawn point, dump point, and interactive icon. We have our base game sugar mill. So we have our interactive icon, our pallet spawn point, and then our dump point around the other side. Located over there. Speaking of the inability to sell planks, we have our sawmill. In here at the sawmill, we have a dump point for our wood. We have our wood sell trigger. We have our interactive icon. We have our plank spawn point. And then around the side, we have our wood chip point. With respect to can the farm be customizable, we're giving the map a half a point because there is several buildings on the main farm that we cannot sell, and there are lots of decorative items on that main farm that we also cannot get rid of. So we are going to knock down to just a half a point there. Wow, we got some traffic that just picks up speed. Right? I mean, it just takes off. It's going slow there, and then all of a sudden, it just boom, went. Now here we have Farm 71, our farmland ID 71. It is a sheep and pig farm. 100 sheep in this pen. And then we have our food and wool spawn point inside of here. So we have our food trough, our wool spawn point. And then it's associated with the pig area up here. So here we have the pig area. We have our slurry point. $60 pigs in this pen. We have our food. Here we have our spawn point for a manure heap, located right there. We have our silo here for the pig farm, sheep farm. We have our dump point and fill point. And then we've got just some implement storage and such. While we're here, let's go ahead and take a look at the build mode. So as far as various items that are available to place on the map, of course, we have the buildings that are associated with the required mods. And then we also have some custom buildings that are included. With respect to silos, we have the lizard silo, or the silo lizard, that's available here on this farm, as well as some custom buildings. Silo extension, as far as the silo lizard mod. Under production, we do have the production items that are available on this map that you can place. These are, for the most part, as best as I can tell, base game items without any additional changes. We have then a few sell points that we can put down, but again, I believe that they are fairly basic. They're just showing up here how they're coded in the XML. Base game orchards generators. We do have some custom animal pins that we can put down as far as our cows and pigs and sheep go. Fairly standard decorative items. And then as far as ground textures, fairly standard and limited set of ground textures, standard plants and trees. Now, since we are kind of talking about ground textures and such, over at the main farm and here, right here, we've got some old school ground textures, probably coming forward from the FS13 variant of this map. Now, what I would really have liked to have seen, especially with here where we have these stones placed kind of as a stone roadway or walkway, we do have the paintable cobblestones that do have the 3D texturing. I would like to have seen that added to the map. It would have been nice to have had these roads replaced with those cobblestones. As such, we're going to be giving the map a ½ point with respect to buildings and ground textures using the new texturing technique. So here we can buy seed, fertilizer at the bulk endpoint. We have a sell point, and it looks like we have the cartridges as collectibles. So there you can see where 2 of the 20 are located. We have our dump point for our sell point. Now, Now we drove past our bakery in order to get to there. So we have our bakery here. Dump point, pallet spawn point. Interactive point around the back, which is should be the front, but okay. I think I find it interesting. This map kind of came out in FS13 and then just kind of was nothing for 15, 17, 19, and here it comes back in 22. So I think this is another bulk buy area. And it's time for lime. Then we have a sell point here as well. Then we have, right next to that, we have our animal dealer. Then we have our animal dealer bale sell point. Side that chase straw grass and such. Let's make our way over to the southeast corner of the map. I mean, I think this would have been a pretty popular map in 15, 17, and 19. So I was kind of surprised to see that we had a map coming from 13, and I don't recall this map in any way ever being available in the alternate games. Now you may be noticing this kind of rough terrain here every so often. Right, that can be a trick for the mapper to hide issues where they're having problems with respect to kind of lining up road segments to basically bury the road segments in a little bit of dirt. So if you ever see areas like that where you've got kind of ground coming up across the road, more than likely it is the mapper trying to hide some road segments they had difficulty in lining up. Back here we have our sell point inside of there. We have our sell point for root crops. We have our stone crusher located right there. And then I believe we're going to find another buy area here for lime. So glad I emptied the other load of lime just to buy the load of lime yet all over again. I really think this is a pretty interesting layout and setup. Really narrow roads. I think you're probably going to be using medium-sized equipment at most here on the map. Here we have our grocery sell point. It's going to be around the back. And then we have our dairy, our cheese dairy. That's how it's named. So we have our dump point, pallet spawn point down there, and then our interactive area here on the front. I mentioned the potato warehouse. That is just here on top of the building, or on top of the hill. And we're going to make our way to our final destination, which is over at the BGA. So our final kind of scoring metric here is going to be trigger and interactive areas being clearly marked. We're going to give the map 3/4 of a point there. We are missing the kind of corner indicators where the dealer workshop would be. I would like to see that have corner markers so players know where that is specifically located. So that's going to give this map a full score of 3.5 out of 5. And again, just a quick rundown of where we lost points. We lost a 1/4 point with respect to not having the ability to sell planks. We lost 1/2 point with respect to the amount of buildings and decorative items that remain at the main starting farm. So here we have our dump point for slurry. We lost a 1/2 point with respect to player buildings and ground textures using the new texturing technique, because there is a mix and match of old and new style buildings and a mix and match of old and new style road and ground textures. So 2 digesters in our interactive icon. And then again, the 1/4 point for the lack of quarter markers at the dealer. It would be nice to see quarter markers also at various sell points and such as well. There we have our pickup point for our digestate. Let me know your all's thoughts down in the comments below with respect to the Nutons Hedge, a FS13 map that kind of has been revitalized for FS22. And until next time, happy farming.